Gentlemen, this is going to be part 2 of a video I did 4 days ago called Personal Trainer Explains How the Gym Exposes Lustful Women. Now, I made that video specifically to talk to men who struggle with lust, as I did in my early 20s. And, a lot of situations that I've been through, I'm very lucky that really bad things did not happen from these situations. And I had guys in the comments asking for me to be very specific with the things that could happen. So I wanted to share that in this video today. Also, guys, I've been sick for the past week. I had another guy saying, you're trying to make your voice sound a certain way. Guys, I've been sick, so my apologies. But, in my early 20s, I was very driven by lust. I was very driven by the external. And this came from needing validation, right? I was somebody, growing up in high school and middle school where, women thought I was cute, but I was never like the top pick. And that ate at me. It ate at me. And, I started hitting the gym when I was 18, put some muscle on, got a little bit of money, got my own car, and things completely changed. And then I became a trainer, right? And as I was saying in my first video, when you're in a position of power, right, this changes the dynamic of how women are going to view you. And when you are a lustful man and there are lustful women around you, you are going to fall into the trap of lust. And this happened to me a lot in my early 20s, right? I was 20 years old, 21 years old, dealing with women who were, in their late 20s, in their 30s. And, I became addicted, right, to this validation. I became addicted to dealing with women who were much older than me and being validated that they had interest in me. But there's a lot of bad things that could have happened with these women. When you're engaging in sexual activity with a woman in general, obviously you have pregnancy. A lot of the times, I was, I wasn't protecting myself, right? I wasn't protecting myself, exposing myself to the possibility of getting STDs, and I was being extremely reckless. And, this is something that I should have been a lot more careful with back then. Now, obviously, I'm extremely aware, and I would never put myself in the same situations I did in my early 20s. But you guys have to cover it up, and you have to understand STDs right now and continuing on, the STD rate is going to keep on getting higher. People will keep on contracting more and more STDs, and you have to be careful. You have to protect yourself. So that's one way, right, where dealing with women who have a high body count, who do get around, you're going to put yourself at a higher risk of getting STDs. And a lot of these people do not even know that they have STDs. Another thing is that, women that I dealt with in my early 20s, specifically one woman that I was seeing during the summertime, she lived at her house, I guess with her ex, and I believe that they were broken up, right? And it's somebody that I engaged with for a summertime, for the entire summer. But something that I wasn't thinking about back then was that this, boyfriend or this person, right, you never know what people's secret agendas are, right? Like this lady that I was, hanging out with during the summertime, she knows where I live, right? Like her boyfriend could have her location. He could show up. He could, like you just never know what people are thinking. You never know what's going on in their minds. And I even had a situation with that same woman at the end of the summer, where her boyfriend actually texted me from her phone asking who I was and this and that, and saying, you know, like, she can't talk to you anymore. I guess because they were dating, but she owned the house, right? But he lived there. And again, guys, like, I see horror stories all the time of just, you know, people being jealous or hurt. And even if this woman is telling me that that relationship is over, you never know, right? And you know, that's a situation where it could have ended completely different. It could have ended completely different. And you do not want to engage with a woman like that who has a situation going on like that, right? I was being lustful. I was just happy to have somebody that would come over and bring me Whole Foods, and you know, would engage in whatever I wanted. That made me happy during the time, but I didn't actually see the full picture of this could be a very dangerous situation, you know. And these are things when you're moving fast and you're moving from a place of lust that you really don't think about, right? But looking back now, it's extremely boneheaded, and I would never engage in any type of activity that even is remotely close to that, right? There was another woman I was seeing a few months before this woman, and you know, she came over, right? We were having drinks, and you know, we started drinking a little bit, and she'd been sending me, you know, a whole bunch of feelers, right? That, you know, she wanted to do the X, Y, and Z. So I remember I put my hand on her thigh, right? And she just looks at me. She looks at me and she was like, "Oh, like, this is what you do to all of the girls that come over here, right? You just, like, you just get them drunk, and then you have sex with them." Like, she told me this, and I was just like, "Holy shit, like, this woman could call the cops or say something." And obviously, right, I've never tried to get women drunk and have them have sex with me, right? Like, I've never done anything like that. But it was the nature and what this woman was saying, right? Like, as soon as I invite her over and we're having drinks and everything's a good time and it's a vibe, her whole, like, her whole mood just changes, right? And I just stop and I'm like, listen, like, we don't have to do anything. You know, I can take you home. I don't want any, like, I don't want any of this. And then she wanted me to drive her home, and we'd been drinking, and I tried to call her an Uber, and then she got mad. And again, I was looking at this woman from a lustful eye, right? I wanted to engage in a lustful way, but I was ignoring that this woman was traumatized, right? She was very pretty, but she was just strange in a lot of her behaviors, right? You can tell that she had this Instagram post of some old college football player that she used to date who was married now, and she had this whole post about how him and her would be together forever. And just seeing these signs, right, it was very weird. But again, I was lustful in nature and I ignored the red flags. And lo and behold, right, like, when we got together, something triggered her. Something triggered her where she thought, okay, like, this man is just trying to engage in activity with me. And you know, you never know, right? Like, this woman could have called the cops. She could have made some fake story up, and all of a sudden your reputation, and even if it's not true, right? Like, you're dealing with something that you do not need to be dealing with. So, you know, these are things that you will go through, right? When you are addicted to lust, when you need constant validation, right? And I would ignore a lot of these red flags in my early 20s. And that's why I made that video, right? Was not this isn't to brag, or this isn't to boast, this isn't to make some shit up and just put it on the internet. This is really what I went through as a young man. And I'm not telling you guys to not ever engage with women, or, you know, if you find a nice lady and you guys have a good time and whatever aspect that means, right? a nice dinner, you guys, you know, go see a movie, go to the park, go grab some coffee, and whatever happens after that, right? I'm not telling you guys not to do that. I'm telling you to be careful with who you engage with, right? And again, when you don't have that discernment in your life and you just look at a woman from the external, there will be situations that arise in your life that could fuck up your life forever, right? There's a lot of situations in my early 20s that could have destroyed my life, right? As I just said with these two stories I told you guys today, you know, that woman, she could have made a fake case about me, a fake report, called the cops. The other woman, right? Maybe she wasn't broken up with her boyfriend. Maybe it was a whole lie and I would have no idea. And now she's coming over to my place and now he knows where I live. And maybe he's crazy, right? Like you guys never know what these people are thinking truly. So, you know, I wanted to just clear that up. And again, you know, just be careful with who you deal with. Be careful with who you lay with. I'm not making this video to scare you guys off from women. Not all women are bad. You know, that video I first created was not to talk bad about women. It's to tell the guys, right, who struggle with lust, who are addicted to porn and just, you know, needing validation, right, externally. That video was to talk to those men because that is something that I struggled with for years. And again, I see a very clear difference with men who have complete sexual discipline, who can see a woman past her external. That man will stay safe in his life. That man will avoid problems. We've seen it with Shannon Sharp this past year ago, right? With that 20-year-old OnlyFans model, and how, you know, that almost destroyed his reputation. And there's a lot of other stories with lust. I appreciate the gentleman who commented on my last video about how, you know, their fathers or certain people that they knew, how they've seen their life get destroyed by lust, because that's why I was making that video. You know, you could have all the money in the world, you could be extremely successful, you could be extremely fit, good looking, but lust will destroy you. Vices will destroy you. So you have to be very careful when, you know, dealing with these women. You have to be careful with everything in life, gentlemen. Honestly, you know, not only will lust destroy you, but, you know, drugs will destroy you. Alcohol, weed, you know, vices in general, as I speak about all the time on this channel. Gambling, social media is a vice. Being addicted to your phone, being addicted to the validation from your phone, that will destroy you as well, you know. So just keep these things in mind, right, when you're going through the world. And, you know, as I always say, you have to be the one that protects yourself. You have to be the person that has the discernment. And, you know, I really just want the best for you guys, right? Because these are things that I went through that, you know, I wouldn't say I would go back and change anything, because I did what I did during that time, but I've changed so much since that time because I saw how destructive my behavior was, right? I was somebody who went to the gym all of the time, but my life outside of the gym was not disciplined. My life outside of the gym was very chaotic. And I chose this at the end of the day, right? Now, I don't do anything that I used to do, honestly. I don't have any of the friends I used to have. I don't deal with any of the women I used to deal with. I'm not even dealing with any women at all right now, because I'm so focused on what I'm doing right now. I'm not dealing with any women. I don't go to the clubs. I don't go to the hookah bars. And again, it's a time period right now, right, guys? I'm just very focused. Like, there's going to be a time where I do go to the hookah lounge again because I like to smoke hookah. There is going to be a time where, you know, I do go out again because, you know, you got to live life a little bit, and maybe I'll want to go out or go to this event. But my whole point is that you have to be in control of yourself at all times. And when you're not in control and you're allowing lust or drugs or different vices to push and pull you, your life will suffer from these vices. So always keep that in mind. This is part 2 of the video. Again, there's a lot of bad things that can happen. I talked about, pregnancy, STDs, them having another person that you don't even know about, just, a fake report, a fake case being written about you, cops called, that a story that's not even true. We see this all the time, especially with professional athletes, but those are stories that are just broadcasted, right, that you can see. There's a lot of stories that happen where nobody will ever know about it, and that's why I wanted to make this video, to tell you guys about the dangers of dealing with lust. And yeah, you have to be in control at the end of the day. So this is John Woo the Only. I'm sending blessings always. Peace.